The sun stands still for Joshua. Have you ever heard that phrase? It's from the Bible. It's from the book of Joshua, chapter 10, verses 12 to 14. And it says this: Then Joshua spoke to God that day, saying, Sun, stand still over Gibeon, and you moon in the valley of Ajalon. In Joshua 10:13. And it came to pass, as Israel was fighting with the Amorites, that Joshua called out to the Lord in the heat of the battle, saying, Israel is defeated. How can I escape? 14. And God said to Joshua, Speak to me again. So he said, Sun, stand still, and moon, do not move away from the stars, till I defeat them completely. And that's exactly what happened. The Bible says that the sun stood still, and the moon stopped in the middle of the sky till the battle was finished. You know, the problem that Joshua had is that he wanted to finish the fight. He didn't want to go into camp with the thought that the next morning they were gone. Have to continue the battle. He wanted to finish it that day. But the problem was, as the Bible says, the sun began to set. The light was failing. They couldn't see. It was getting dark and the battle wasn't finished. So Joshua cried out to God and said, God, the sun, can you stop the sun? Can you stop the moon till we finish this battle? And God said, okay. Now what happened that day? What was the significance of that day? One commentator said it was the longest day in history and the shortest night. I've heard people say that before, but I think it's also the only day that lasted for eternity. Why? Because if you look at the statement, it says the sun stood still until Israel was completely victorious. Okay, so there's no beginning, there's no end. It just says until. So the implication is that when God said until, he meant forever. So this day, this length of time, this duration of time, stood still forever. It was the only day that lasted for eternity. But I want you to notice something else about that verse. As you look at verse 14, it says, And God said to Joshua, Speak to me again. So he said, Sun, stand still, and moon, do not move away from the stars, till I defeat them completely.
Ow.
Notice what it says here. It doesn't say that the sun and the moon stood still because Israel was defeated. It says, the sun and the moon stood still till Israel was completely defeated. Their victory was complete. Do you know who the real hero of this story is? God is. Why? Because the victory didn't belong to Joshua. It didn't belong to the Israelites. The victory belonged to God. It says in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 22, The Lord your God will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. So the true hero of this story is God. He fought for Israel. He gave them the victory. He made the sun stand still. He made the moon silent. So today, whatever it is you're facing, remember, God is in control. God is fighting for you. Just hold your peace. Trust in God. He'll give you the victory. When he gives you the victory, you can shout it from the housetops.